dev crew. Thank you guys. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all of you as customers. Excited to have you here today, and excited to go through our deck and a lot of material, a lot of great stuff, as you mentioned. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and jump right in here. Let me expand our slides. And quick intro in case you haven't met anyone on the call here. Hopefully you've bumped into us once or twice. My name is Bryce Carpenter. I head up the customer success team at Hostfully. Excited to be here with you. I'll kick it over to Mitch and we can kind of go round the horn, guys.
Sounds good. Good to be here. I'm Mitch Foster. I manage our partnerships and integrations over here at Hostfully. And yes, sometimes I do wear a cowboy hat outside of webinars.
Nice. Hey guys, I'm Eric Anderson. I head up our support team here at Hostfully. I'm excited to talk with you all about all the great things that our development team has done this year. Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm Rihanna. I'm the director of onboarding here, and you may have run into me if you've already onboarded. And if not, I'm looking forward to meeting you.
All right. Hey, everybody. David Jacoby, president and co-founder of Hostfully. So happy to be here with you all and so happy to see many familiar names and customers on here. So I just want to say thank you to you for making our product better, for giving us lots of feedback and being cheerleaders and champions. So I appreciate you. It's been a wild ride that we've been on, not only this past 1 year, the past 9 years that we've been around. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. And I think through this webinar, you'll get a little glimpse of all the awesome features that we've added. Very excited about that. And I think there's a few folks that maybe aren't customers on here. So thank you for learning about what we've been up to. And you'll see the pace of innovation that we have. And I know that our business development team would just love to speak with you. They might have a special year-end discount or something. So they'd love to give you a personal demo. So please reach out to us afterwards, hello@hostfully.com, and we will be happy to talk with you. While I have everyone's attention, I also just want to give a shout out for our year-end hospitality report. We do that every year. It's got incredible insights into the industry. We do a big survey, get lots of great data, and share it with everyone. And you can get that at hostfully.com/report. Thank you, Mitch. You're on it. You didn't even know I was going to do that. Way to go, Mitch.
Man.
So please check out our industry study. I think you'll find it very interesting.
That's why they call him Quick Draw, guys. He's quick on the uptake. Good job, Mitch. Excellent. Just a couple other quick housekeeping items here. We'd love to have your questions. Feel free to ask questions. You'll see in our webinar tool there, kind of bottom right-hand side. You can click into the questions area, ask questions, interact with us. Love to hear from you. Also, we have a few polls. Mitch is going to launch those up here. We always like to know who we're speaking with and who's out there since we can't see you face to face. But please take a moment, just answer our polls there, and a little bit of fun there as well too. So, and believe it or not, growing up and living in Oregon, Mitch, I've never ridden a horse, so might come as a surprise, but still.
Hey, we'll get you on one day sometime soon, Bryce.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Excellent. Well, great. So let's jump right in. We've got a lot to get through. Excited to move through this with you. Our agenda here is we're going to cover a little bit of everything, but everything is all been newly released in 2024 into Hostfully. We'll touch on a few areas that have been there in the past that we just want to make sure you know about, but we'll talk about the property management platform, guidebooks, mobile app, integration partners, some resources that maybe you didn't know about, maybe you did, and then we'll take a quick sneak peek at 2025 and what's coming around the bend there for Hostfully. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. First, a lot of work going into reporting this year and moving forward. So you saw some new reports introduced into the platform. Of course, we always have our trusty standby reports there. And if you need to customize reports or if you need any help with reports, just wanted to share, feel free to jump into an office hours with the customer success team. We're always happy to take a look at that with you and happy to dive in and make sure those reports fit your business. There's a lot that you can do with customizing reporting, and we'd love to share that with you and always happy to do so. First off, an occupancy report here was introduced this year, and this is by property. Just kind of took a quick snapshot here. So if you navigate in your account to the drop-down menu and go to reports, and then on the far right-hand side, you can see this little picture on my screen, enhanced reports. And then this is under the property report section. There's a drop-down menu on the right-hand side there. If you go to property reports and you run this, you'll be able to see occupancy by property. So this report filters by property. Each row is an individual property. In this case, I've kind of blocked those out just from a privacy standpoint. But each of these rows represents a property in a given month in this case, and kind of what their revenue was, what their taxes, both nights booked, nights available, and occupancy rate. So just some really useful and valuable information, especially year end. If you're looking to kind of summarize for your owners, you know, how things have gone, how you've performed, how their property is booked. This can be a great tool to grab for that. And maybe if they haven't performed as well, it might be time to get rid of that flower print couch in the living room. So hopefully that helps you guys, and you can run that throughout the year and for different time frames. And we'd love for you to do that. So check out the occupancy report under property reports there. We also added a jobs report. So if you're using Hostfully to track your cleaning jobs or maintenance or any other jobs or work that happens in the properties, there's now a report that will allow you to run kind of a rundown of what you've got there. That's also under enhanced reports, and it's in the logistics section. So if you go to the logistics section on the drop down on the right hand side, you'll be able to run that report, see what's scheduled or what has occurred, and kind of the status of any of those items. So definitely hop in there and check that out if you're using some of our jobs for tracking within the Hostfully system. And then finally on reports there, we added the long anticipated pre-arrival report. Previously, you had to download kind of an extended data report in Hostfully and get the information that had been submitted in your pre-arrival forms. We've made that into its own report. It's also in the logistics section. You'll see it there. And so hop over there if you have guests filling out that pre-arrival form. This is a great way to download that information, including email addresses. So if you're capturing email addresses for some of those guests that you want to remarket to or be able to communicate with in the future, take a look there, check that out. You can even schedule this and keep in mind any of our reports. You can schedule, you kind of see it on my screen there. There's a little schedule option there next to any given report. And you can set that up to just go automatically to your email, receive a CSV once a month, and upload that to your marketing platform or whatever you're using for communications for future guests and remarketing. So a few great reports there, a lot of great standby reports there, owner statement, end of month type reports. Again, we know sometimes reporting can be overwhelming. If you'd like some help, feel free to reach out, jump on office hours, let us know, and we'll be happy to dig in with you. All right, so now we are at Miss Rihanna's slides. I'll go ahead and kick it over to you, unless there were any questions we had right on reporting. Doesn't look so. Go ahead, Rihanna.
Let me go ahead and share my screen here. So I'm going to walk you through it directly on my screen. That worked. Awesome. So I have a few fun things that are easy to set up in the platform, but make your organization a lot better. One of the things we have is tags. So here under my test account, if I go to properties, you'll see there's the option to tag your properties down here. So it doesn't make a whole lot of difference if I only have 15 properties, but if I have 100 properties, I don't want to have to scroll down through all of these to make changes. So I can tag them. So for example, I've tagged this one California, this one with Yosemite, but I can also put other tags. So maybe south side of the city, or I can tag it with 3 bedrooms, or this one has a pool. And that way I can actually search in different sections of the system by those tags. So one of those places that we can search is on this property page. So the filter is always up here, and on the right-hand side, you'll see these 3 little lines. You can click on this and it brings up the filters. So now that I have tags in the system, I can actually search by those tags. So if I search for just Yosemite properties, and apply the filters, it's just going to bring up those properties that are in Yosemite. So now I can go in and set permissions or change those properties by those ones that I just pulled up. There are additional places you can use these tags. So it's great under the calendar section. So this is open, but if I go ahead and open it right here, I can search just by the tags. So again, I'll search by Yosemite and apply filters. Oops, it didn't like that. Let's scroll these down. You can see there's additional ways to filter, so it just got confused. I don't know why it's not filtering by that. It should filter by that. We'll try to pull one here. Nope, it's probably just my settings, but you should be able to filter by the tags here as well. And then the channel page is a fun one. So under the channel page, if I want to turn on just specific properties, and I have a ton of properties here, let's say I'm logged in, I can actually search by tags here. And this one didn't work, so it was probably just my settings on the other one. There are additional places you can use filters that don't have tags. So under the pipeline, we do have the filter box under the pipeline as well. So you can search by reservation by specific things, by the status of the reservation. This is a fun one if you want to click just booked reservations or just archived reservations. You can search by creation date or arrival date. So that's just by creation date or arrival date. This one doesn't have tags, but you can search by the properties. So I can search for just one specific property. So those are the filters and the tags, super easy to use and very useful if you have a lot of properties. I'm also going to show you permissions today. So if you have multiple employees at your company, if we click on agency settings, you'll see I already have some additional roles here. I can add as many employees as I want if I'm on a Pro Plan or above. So I can go ahead and add a role to this. So I want to invite one of my team members. And I'm going to go ahead and put their email address in here, not their name. One thing you have to do is click the little enter button here to make it stick, and then you can choose their role. So manager has the same role as you do as an owner of the account. They can do everything in the system. A booking agent is specifically for people that are just going to be dealing with reservations, so they have limited access to reservations for the properties that they're assigned to. A property sales manager is limited to things like listing information. So if you have somebody who's just assigned to add additional properties to the system. And then an associate is read-only. You might use this for a VA or somebody in the system that you don't want to have any access to changing anything in the system. So the great part is if I add this person as a booking agent, I'm going to send an invite to them. And then they'll get an invite in the system and they'll have to open their email to access the system and log in. But I do want to assign them to a property. So they only have access to the calendar and everything for the property they're assigned to. You'll see I have several of my properties already set with permissions. So if I want to add another person to Majestic Pines Retreat so they have access, I can go ahead and add another person. So that person that I just added hadn't accepted their invite yet. So we'll add this booking agent right here. And now you can see there's 3 people in your system that have access to Majestic Pines Retreat. So that's permissions, and there's different roles within permissions. And then I also want to show you some cool things about the calendar. So if I go to calendar, let's get rid of the filters. Clear filters here, it gives me all the properties. So we used to have just one view of the calendar. Now we have 2 views. So you can see the booking view, which will show you all of the reservations, but not the pricing. So if I had a reservation or a block here, it would show up on this calendar. Since I'll add a block here so you can see. So it'll show you a block or any reservations. There's also the price view. So now you have the option to see the pricing here on the calendar. You can actually bulk update pricing. But one of the cool things we have now is the ability to set check-in and check-out restrictions in bulk. So let's say that I just want to set checkout instructions for these 3 properties right here for the specific time period over the holidays or something like that. So I'll click and drag across those properties. I can now click check-in and check-out restrictions. And now I can allow certain days to be checked in. So maybe on the holidays, you don't allow them to check in on every day. You only allow them to check in on Mondays, and they can only check out on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays or something like that. So now I can set it for just those days, for just those properties. And now you'll see those checkout restrictions will be on those properties. You can also still set them on the individual properties on the property page like always. One of the cool things we have now is the ability to set them per day of the week. So I believe that's under the pricing on an individual property. And let's see here. Oh, I thought it was here. So you can set it by day of the week. I'm absolutely positive. I just did this. So we'll come back to that portion of it. The next is the emailing the property list. So this is a fun one we show to everybody. So under the calendar, people have been asking the ability to email a property list to a lead. So you're on the phone with somebody and they want to have a list of properties that are specific to their requirements. So you can set your requirements up here. Click on email property list and it'll bring up just the properties that have those requirements. You can put in your lead's email and click send a message, and it will send them the links to each one of those properties. So they'll be able to see the pricing and everything for those properties. So that's a fun one. And then my absolute favorite addition this year is the ability to do the owner adjustments with an upload of a receipt. So under properties, let's do one that I don't have an owner on. So the Granite Glade. Let's say you don't own the property, but you want to add in owner adjustments to the reporting that Bryce just showed you. So I'll add somebody here. This is going to be my owner for this property. Sorry for the pop-ups. I need to add in their email so they actually have access to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and save the owner. So you do have to have an actual owner in there to add owner adjustments. And then now we have the owner in the system. I could invite the owner to claim the account, but I can add owner adjustments without inviting them. So maybe you don't want the owner to log in and see the account yet. You can still add in owner adjustments. So under owner adjustments, this is fun. We can now do it one time or recurring. So maybe you put in pest control weekly or monthly, and then you add in the pest control receipt, or you can do one time. So I do have a receipt to add in here. So I'm going to add dry cleaning as the name. It was on this specific date, which is a date forward. Let's do a date backwards. It was $150, and we can put in a tax rate if there was a tax. And then let's say dry cleaning of the drapes. Somebody messed up your drapes. You can go ahead and upload a receipt and add it to the system. And now you have your actual receipts uploaded to the system, and these owner adjustments will appear on the report as well. You can also, of course, edit or delete these if you need to. And I think that's it on my agenda, Bryce.
Excellent. Thanks, Rihanna. Go ahead and pop back over to our slides here. All right, I want to talk a little bit about our new listing type in Hostfully for those of you who maybe have worked with multi-unit type listings before. Really the best way to think about this kind of inventory is kind of like a hotel. So where you have a certain room type and maybe you have 5 of that room available. And so you can now create those multi-unit listings within Hostfully and push those out to the channels. We'll talk a little bit about some of the work in progress there, but that will show up kind of like one listing. So if you have, let's say you had 5 one-bedroom suites and you list that on Airbnb, it'll show up as one listing. There's basically just a quantity of 5 behind the scenes so that guests can book and rebook until your availability is all blocked up. So multi-unit listing, super excited to bring this to our customers. We have a lot of customers kind of moving in this direction, doing a little bit of standard short-term rentals, but then also multi-unit as well. I'm showing just kind of a quick dichotomy here, quick breakdown to use when you're thinking about, should I use this multi-unit listing type? And really the first question is, are those units or rooms furnished the same? Do they look the same? And that's an important yes or no, because if not, you're probably going to want to go the route of either a parent-child listing or just a standalone listing. If those units do look the same, then we can continue down the path here, because we know that when the guest books that unit type, they're not going to get any surprises. They're going to get what they saw in their reservation process, and that's all going to make sense. Now, if they match as far as furnishings and look and feel, the next question you want to ask is, do I want this unit to have its own listing with its own reviews? And if the answer to that question is no, then we can look at the options there as far as doing, again, parent-child or standalone listing. If each of those units can kind of roll up under that listing type, then we can use multi-unit, because you'll only have one set of reviews, you only have one set of images. And so for multi-unit, you want to make sure that really that's a consistent inventory and listing type that you're rolling out there to customers. So good things to keep in mind as you're looking at multi-unit listings. Now, as far as building out those listings, let's talk about kind of some of the steps here within Hostfully. We'll start at the top of my screen here. I'm just going to show some screenshots to walk you through this. When you go to the property section in Hostfully, you're going to see the option there now to add a property. There's a drop down, and you have a few different options there. You can add a single property, you can add a multi-unit property. You can also import from Airbnb right here as well. So we're going to choose the multi-unit property option. And the next step here on the left-hand side of my screen is taking you into building kind of the umbrella structure, or maybe the hotel structure of that multi-unit listing. This is really all about the building that those rooms are located in. This is not a bookable entity in and of itself. Okay, so the hotel in whole is not bookable for this particular listing type. This is creating just kind of that shell that is the building or the property itself. So once you create that, you're going to set the address and a few pieces of information, and then you're going to save and move to the next step here, and you're going to go ahead and add a unit type. So again, in the hierarchy of the structure, you've got the hotel itself, and then you have unit types. And think of unit types as kind of a view type. So maybe if you have an ocean view room versus a mountain view room, those are going to be unit types, and you might have multiple inventory or multiples of those available. So we'll click Add Unit Type. And from this screen, we'll be able to configure all of the details of that unit type, including description, amenities, photos, rental conditions. So all of those details live at the unit type level. And so again, that's why really look and feel, furnishing, everything needs to match up within that unit type and with that configuration, because you're only going to have one set of photos and amenities that cover that unit type. Once you add that unit type and go ahead and save those additional details, we'll move to the next step here. And now you're able to add units or inventory under that unit type. And so once you've created that, you can say, now I have 3 of this unit type. So we're just kind of showing, clicking in here, to the property itself, and then you'll see a tab for units. And within that units tab on the left-hand side, we can add extra units, or we can add multiple units that are of that type and that match up with that unit type. And as you add those, you can give those units different names. You can give them different numbers. I've worked with customers in kind of both, who've gone both directions, but you will be able to identify those different units within your reporting. You'll be able to, pull those details in the enhanced reporting section that we looked at a little bit ago, and we'll be able to, capture some of that additional detail about those units and about those properties. Now, once that's all said and done, you'll have your multi-unit listing built out, and this is just kind of a snapshot of the calendar view. And so you can see on my screen here kind of what this looks like. The first 2 examples within this hotel only have 1 room. So there's only 1 unit within this first large studio. The next large studio is a street view, so city view, street view, and that only has 1. But then you can see this next studio with kitchen actually has a quantity of 4. So there are 4 of those available. And I can now work with those and manage those from the calendar. I can move guests in this studio with kitchen. I can move guests between the units, just drag and drop and reposition those. and it just makes for a really easy kind of management process from the Hostfully calendar there. Now, multi-unit, something that is a work in progress. We're continuing to add and just build additional connections there for multi-unit listings. Today, we have Airbnb and Booking.com fully supported, as well as Hostfully direct bookings. So those all work with multi-unit. We also have a couple of partners that are early to the game there and supporting multi-unit. That would be Jervis and Price Labs. And coming soon to our channel integrations will be Google and Verbo, and then also, from what I hear, the team at Turno and Charge Automation also working at supporting multi-unit listings. So again, multi-unit listings, something that we're working with our partners and all of our integration partners to support, and kind of a work in progress. It's got, we have to fit into their roadmap and kind of their priorities, and want to make sure that we're sensitive to that. And so you'll see over the rest of this year and through 2025, more integration partners who will support that multi-unit listing type. And we'll be excited to share that with you as those become available. All right, Mr. Eric, over to you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, Bryce. Thanks, Ree. Great updates. I'm going to take about 5 minutes here to talk about Booking.com. So Booking.com had a lot of opportunity for improvement this past year, and we knocked it out the park. We've been doing, our development team has been putting in a lot of work to make the integration better. And so it all started last January. We met with their team in Amsterdam. And so you can see us here. We had a 3-day workshop where we worked with them. We talked about the integration. We talked about what we could improve. And then from June until December, we actually just finished the project 2 weeks ago. We made a lot of improvements. So I can't talk about all of them today. There's just too many, but I did want to talk about 5. And the first one here is high resolution photos. So with Booking.com, there's what's called a content score. And this content score plays a role into your listing placement within Booking.com. And what we were noticing is the photos we were pushing weren't always high quality. And so what our development team has done behind the scenes is to optimize those photos. And so before they go to Booking.com, we ensure that they do meet that mark of being high quality. And if they don't, we optimize them. And so if you're on the channels page for Booking.com and you find your listing, right next to that listing, you're going to see different scores. And the one that we're talking about here is the content score. So a little known fact is that you can actually click on that content score and it's going to pop up this other pop-up. And it's going to tell you all the different things that you can do to improve that content score. So we're making sure that all of your photos are high quality. And that's actually one of the biggest factors in the content score, and it's worth 10 points. So big kudos to the team for making that happen. I think a lot of property managers are going to like this one, and I hope that we've communicated it well. We're still trying to get the word out. And that is, you now have access to all amenities. So before you were limited to only being able to choose amenities, facilities, services that were in Hostfully. And now what we've done is we still allow you to do that, but we don't overwrite anything that you choose in the extranet. So if there's amenities, facilities, services in the extranet that aren't in Hostfully, you can select those. And we're not going to overwrite those. So you have full access to all of those and their sub configurations as well. With the Booking.com project came adjustments to our order page. And so on the left side, you're going to see the booking overview. And we've clarified this. We've made it more organized. So you can see the different sections: rent, taxes, fees, deposit. And then at the bottom, you're going to see this bolded section. It's a lighter gray, and that's the total. So we've really cleaned this up. It's mobile responsive. And below that total, you're going to see a note about the reservation being fully paid. And this applies to more reservations than just Booking.com. This applies to all different types of reservations. But I wanted to call this out because it happened within that Booking.com project. Up top, you're going to see the view order button. So this used to just be a hyperlink. We made it into a button to make it clearer to find. Once you click on view order, it's going to take you to the new revamped order page. You can add owner adjustments. You can add manual transactions. Again, that same clear breakdown where we have rent, fees, taxes, deposit. And then at the bottom for Booking.com specifically, we've added commission. So it's easy to see how much commission you're paying on each reservation. A couple other small improvements to that booking overview. So we have a data tab, and at the bottom of that data tab, we've added Booking.com data. So if you're ever needing to know the reservation ID, maybe the rate plan it was booked on, you can find that information directly from that booking overview data tab. And then a new tab that was introduced is the Actions tab. So this is only for Booking.com reservations. This Actions tab, it allows you to take actions that you can take in the extranet, but now we allow you to take those in Hostfully too. So these are things like reporting an invalid credit card or canceling a reservation due to an invalid credit card. So it's just more convenience to be able to do this in Hostfully instead of having to navigate to Booking.com. Lastly, a quick sneak peek at the new property settings page. So this is in development. This is probably the biggest page at Hostfully. For those, I think everyone on this call who's a Hostfully customer knows that this page has a lot of information. You may recognize this page by the tabs on the left-hand side. Main settings, descriptions, photos, amenities. We're currently revamping that page, and there's a ton of work that goes into this, but it's going to be so much more sleek and quick, and I think you all are going to love it. So a couple of things we're doing here is with the amenities, you're going to be able to filter by amenities for certain channels. So instead of having the little icons next to it, you're going to be able to click on a channel, see amenities for that channel. You can also navigate to different properties directly from the property page you're already on. So you don't have to click back and then find the property. But there's so many good improvements in this project, and I'm really excited for it to come out next year. Lastly, within the Booking.com section on that properties page, you're going to see that we've organized these fields into channel-specific sections. And not only have we done that, but we're adding cancellation policy at the property level. So right now for Booking.com, you can only select a cancellation policy at the agency level, but coming soon, once this page is released next year, you're going to have the ability to select it at the property level. So this is a huge project. Our development team and product team have been working tirelessly on this, and really thankful for all the work they've done and excited for all the work that's coming out soon. So with that, I'll pass it over to David.
All right. Whoa, Bryce, what did you do here with this?
My bad. I did, but I had to, right? Like it had to be shown.
All right. So I am here to talk about Airbnb changes, some updates to the guidebooks, and our awesome inbox AI feature. These are some of my favorite things. For those who don't know, I do have this weird obsessive Airbnb merch, Airbnb swag collection. So send stuff my way. I'm still looking for the coveted box of Obama O's. And also I like seeing Flash in there. Flash was in some pictures earlier. He's really living his best life this year alone as we do a year-end review. He's been to Bali. He's been to the French Alps, Amsterdam, New Orleans. He's having a great time, right? All right. So let's talk about some changes that we've made. Hopefully one feature, I'll go through this quickly because hopefully you won't use it much, but in case you do, you can do it easily in Hostfully, canceling a booking on Airbnb. You used to have to log in to Airbnb to do that. Now you can do that straight from the pipeline or through the inbox as well. Actually, if you click on it from the pipeline, it takes you here to the inbox with the big red cancel booking button. And then you fill out some information similar to what you would do directly in Airbnb, selecting the reason and any messages that you want to send. and the reservation is canceled. So good to know, and hopefully you won't use that much. In other news, I am excited to announce that we have our first integration between our guidebook platform and Airbnb. So we're very excited about this feature. Everything usually goes from the property management platform directly into Airbnb, but now you can manage checkout tasks in the guidebooks because that's where that information is. So we've already had that architecture. We already had all that information. Yes, it does mean you need to have a guidebooks for this feature, but you should be having guidebooks anyways to provide a 5-star hospitality experience to your guests and decrease the number of questions you are getting from your guests. So let me dig in a little to show with the checkout task. So here is the departure section of the guidebook, and I'll zoom in a little bit. And there's some information missing. Let's say I want to tell guests, I just got a guest book and I want them to sign the guest book before they leave. Also, I want them to lock the doors. So in the guidebook platform where you configure all this information, we have a bunch of checkboxes. So here you can check, please sign our guest book before you leave and make sure you lock the doors. And then if you save the card, it will then appear in the guidebook. So this is what it shows being added to the guidebook in a couple different sections. And then if you go to Airbnb, if you go to your property listing and scroll all the way down to the bottom, I don't know if you guys ever look at this closely. So, things to know, house rules, show more. That's where these details are. So you click on show more. And here's kind of a before and after of what it looks like before I check those boxes in the guidebook platform and afterwards. So you can see lockup is highlighted on the right. It wasn't there before. And then additional requests, please sign our guest book. So it's in additional requests because Airbnb, we do some mapping and they have some default items like gather used towels and turn things off. So that we map directly. And then we have more stuff in the guidebook platform, and that goes to the additional requests section. Another cool feature, it took us a little bit to do, and we're really proud of this, is updates to the Airbnb messaging and how it works with our inbox. Essentially, Airbnb made some big changes to their messaging for this kind of many-to-many, where multiple co-hosts can send messages, but also multiple guests can send messages. So that's a new feature they added, right? Before, just the main guest who made the reservation, you can communicate with them. But now that main guest, they can add additional people. They've always been able to do that. You add additional guests to that reservation, but now those additional guests can communicate as well. So we support all of that. So you can see all messages in the Hostfully inbox from all the hosts as well as from all the guests. So here you see messages from multiple hosts, and that appears here in the inbox. So if you are using Hostfully and you have a co-host who's not, and they send a message, you'll be able to see that. So you'll know that the question that the guest asked has already been answered. So just zooming in a little bit, you can see here it shows by Johanna, host, and by Brock, who in this case is a host. And now I'll show some guests, and Brock is going to be a guest here. So there's multiple guests. So the host says, thank you for choosing us. And then one guest replies, thanks, I've added a friend. And then that friend replies as well. And you can see that information in here in the inbox. I'll zooming in. Thanks, we're super excited to say at your property from one guest. And hi, I added my friend as a second guest. So you can see both those messages. So everything is in the inbox. TLDR, it's all there. Very excited about that. And also you can choose who you want the messages to be sent from. So that's in property settings. There's a little pick list. So if there's multiple co-hosts related, you can choose your name. So the messages are coming from you and it doesn't look like it's coming from the owner or another co-host. So you have full control over that. All right. And now Inbox AI, my favorite thing to demo. I will share my screen and we'll do a live demo. And kudos to you, Rihanna, earlier for doing a live demo as well. You never know what you're going to get, especially with AI. So let's see what happens here. All right, so everyone can see my inbox here. I have a reservation from David Webinar, and I am going to right now, oh, so I should set the stage actually. So our inbox AI feature, I'm sorry, I just dove right in. We're incorporating AI to make your life a whole lot easier to create drafts of responses to send back to the guest. Not only is it basic information if you ask questions about, hey, is it rainy in San Francisco? But really it's incorporating information from the property. So from the property settings. And our special sauce too is it's incorporating information from the guidebook. So if you have a really rich guidebook, that's going to not only provide a great guest experience, but it's also going to feed our AI tool. So you're going to have awesome draft answers to provide if the guest asks a question. So let's do a few examples. What time is checkout? I'm pretending to be the guest right now, sending a message. So let me refresh the page here. And here we go. Now we see what time is checkout. So just click on suggest an answer, and it will look at property setting information for basic stuff like this. And there we go. Checkout is 11 a.m. If you require a late checkout, please let us know in advance, and we'll do our best to accommodate your request depending on our schedule. Thank you. So you can customize it a little bit more, hi, David, if you want, and then send that out. So that's one example, pretty straightforward. Now let's do something else. What about where can I find good ice cream? So while that text message is coming in, let's look at the guidebook. So here's my guidebook, and I saw a question earlier about, before I get into that, I saw a question earlier about Viator and commission. So don't forget that we have an integration with Viator, and the guidebook can be earning you revenue 8% for just recommending your favorite tours and activities. We have a help article about that, and essentially you do need to sign up for a Viator account. And then it links over and it kind of passes your parameters through. So for people looking to make QR codes too, you can just take whatever these URLs are and turn them into QR codes, and then you'll get 8% commission. So that's just a side note to address that question. Going back to my guidebook, I want to show you I love ice cream, and I have a whole custom category on my favorite ice cream places here in San Francisco. So let's go to the inbox. Let's see if the question has come in. Oh, I didn't even need to refresh. And you guys hopefully just saw it. It came in already. Where can I find good ice cream? Suggest an answer. And take a look at this. For delicious ice cream, we recommend trying the following places. And it brings in all information from the guidebook. And it even includes some URLs that take you directly to those sections. Once you send it, it'll take you right to the Smitten specific card or the Buy Right Creamery card. So pretty cool information there, taken right from the guidebook. If I didn't have ice cream in the guidebook, then it would do kind of a normal search and make other suggestions. But this is more personalized because the information is in the guidebook. All right, and finally, let's do one more just for fun. And it's actually going to show off a feature too. Let's see what question David Webinar, Jacoby Webinar is going to ask next. Look at this. Who are the best property managers in the vacation rental industry? That is a great question. Let's see what our inbox AI has to say about that. The best property managers in the vacation rental industry are those who utilize advanced technology and software solutions such as Hostfully. All right, very cool. Their dedication to quality service and guest satisfaction sets them apart in the industry. So how does Inbox AI know that? I mean, Inbox AI, they really know their stuff, but this is pulling from the guidebook. So we have this cool new feature that was recommended by a customer of ours. So thank you. Shout out to Michael Springer from Booknola, where if you go to the house manual cards, and I'll just search, I've got one. So here we go. Who are the best property managers in the vacation rental industry? So I have this card, and it does not appear in the guidebook. You're not going to find it in the house manual section here. And the reason is because there's this one feature. Do you want this to be an invisible card? Yes. So now you have the ability to have information that is specifically for our Inbox AI feature that does not appear in the guidebook. So some use cases, and the main example that was given was some kind of troubleshooting help stuff that it might be too much, might be overload to have it in the guidebook about details on turning the TV on or troubleshooting if something's wrong with the hot tub. But if you get that question, you want to be able to have a quick draft ready to go and answer for that. So now you can have information that's hidden at first glance in the guidebook, but it's still feeding into the inbox, so it can make your draft responses with our AI feature that much richer. All right, and that is everything on Inbox AI, Airbnb, and guidebooks.
Good stuff, David. Thank you. Awesome walkthrough. Love the personalization as well there. And just to kind of keep the party going a little bit with Inbox, we'll talk a bit about the Inbox AI feature within the mobile app as well here in just a moment. But wanted to cover some of the mobile app releases over the course of the year. We'll also touch on just a few kind of how-tos within the mobile app, and stay tuned. There's even more to come in 2025 for the mobile app. And we just want to continue moving that forward, evolving that, improving the mobile app. Obviously, we know it doesn't have every single feature that the web version has today, but we are dedicated to continuing to add features and build that out. So don't lose hope. If there's something you're looking for in the mobile app, I'm sure that Alice and team will be adding that. They really have added so much over the course of this year. So mobile app Inbox and AI within the mobile app first here. Start on the left-hand side of my screen. And I'm not as brave as David, so I'm not doing a live demo. But I did want to show just a few features here within the Inbox. One is on the left-hand side, and some people don't always notice these. You've got a couple little shortcuts here that are slightly grayed out under where you can enter your message. And those are for templates, and then also adding attachments to your responses and to your messages. If you haven't checked this out, check out the templates. I've got an arrow there pointing to that. And then you'll be able to see all of your custom templates, as well as any system templates that are in your account, and just can really save time, obviously, when you're on the go on your phone and trying to work shorthand. So check out the templates there first. And then finally, you will also see the AI within the mobile app Inbox. A little bit sneaky, a little bit hidden here, but when a guest sends in a response and asks a question, you'll see these little blue stars appear. I've got an arrow pointing at those there. And if you click those, you'll see the same thing that David just showed, where that response will be generated, a suggested response. You're still going to need to go ahead and click send there and send that out to the guest, but can use that on the go with your mobile app as well. So please check it out. Let us know what you think. In addition, this year we added some additional view options and really engagement options in the mobile app. And one was to actually be able to view the order and interact with the order details of your reservation. And so if you're on the calendar view, just in this example, you click on a booking, you're going to see a hyperlink there when you scroll down to a view order link. And there you'll be able to see kind of the complete breakdown. Eric showed a screenshot of this in the web version, but also on the mobile app, you can see these details. You can see the amounts paid, any balances due, and you can hop over to the pipeline and take action or send a payment request or anything like that here from the mobile app as well. So the view order details now here in the mobile app, and again, we'll just continue to add additional functionality with that as we go, but a great way to be able to see the order, transactions, all that good detail right from your phone. Next on the list for the year was the ability to edit a reservation, actually make changes to a reservation. And so you can, of course, do that now within the mobile app. So on the left-hand side of my screen, if you pull up a reservation, you're going to see 3 dots here on the top right-hand side. I clicked those and you'll see an edit option. That edit option is going to get you into this editable view to be able to make changes to the reservation, whether it be the details of the stay and the guest, or the financial details or what you're charging the guest or adding an additional line item. All of those are available here from within the mobile app now. Once you make those changes, just hit update, and now you've got that changed within your reservation. So keep an eye out for those 3 little dots. Sometimes people miss that. Wanted to make sure that you guys saw that within your reservations. Next on the list, the ability to make some changes to the calendar and the property settings. And again, this is an area we'll continue to add some functionality within the mobile app. This is one sometimes people miss. So from the calendar on the left-hand side, if you click the image of your property, it's going to expand that. So it starts as a collapsed view. Once you've got that name of the property showing up, go ahead and click right on the name of the property. And that's going to take you into the calendar details screen. And that's going to allow you to make some changes here as well. So as you can see here, I can see kind of minimum stay, the nightly rate. And if I click down on a particular night, just hold down for a moment with my finger, then I'm going to have some additional editing that I can do. That includes changing the minimum stay. That includes changing the nightly rate if you're not using one of our integration partners for dynamic pricing. And you can make that update right from the mobile app. Again, one that sometimes people miss. If you haven't checked that out, hop into the app there and take a look. And like I said, we're going to continue adding property configuration settings and some additional features there as we move through the year. And with that, Mitch, you've been waiting patiently to tee you up.
So patiently over here, so patiently, but tons of good info up to this point. Just a reminder, you guys, we'll have a recording of this that you'll get sent after too. So you'll have everything you need to watch this again. But as mentioned before, I manage our integration partnerships over here at Hostfully. So just wanted to highlight a few tools. Of course, if you see any of our posts on socials or anything like that, you know, we work very closely with some of our integration partners out there. So a few of them we've been able to get some premium tools, no cost to you guys, that you could be implementing right now if it makes sense. So just wanted to cover a few of those. First one being Turno. We've worked super well with these guys. If you're not familiar with Turno, they're a turnover management platform. They'll help you basically automate the whole cleaning operations of your business. When bookings come in, having new cleanings scheduled from your cleaner's point of view too. They are also going to be able to follow a checklist, upload photos, create any issues, and even get paid through the platform too. So very neat features. And one other feature to mention about Turno, if you don't have a cleaner or if you're looking to change cleaners, they have a marketplace that I've personally used myself and found a long-time cleaner through it. So highly recommend those guys. On the analytics side, a couple freemium tools. Didn't want to add too many screenshots to overload the page, but these 3 tools are really going to help you guys kind of just take a look at your performance and be able to, you know, kind of recognize some areas of improvement, whether that's on the pricing side, the, you know, length of stay side. Your RevPAR is always an interesting one to take a look at. Now, each of the platforms has a little bit different view to it. So definitely just recommend, you know, reaching out to their team, seeing what might be the best fit. But again, all these platforms are free for you guys. And the last one to mention is SuperHog, our partnership on the guest screening side. Now, there's a lot that can be screened on the guest side. SuperHog offers Hostfully users a light version where essentially they're just screening whether the email address is legit, the phone number is legit, and they've been doing this for a number of years. So they have quite a big database of guests in their database. So they do a quick screen of that, and based off of those things, they can actually send in a guest risk score right into the pipeline. You can see on the screenshot on the left. And we have some help articles to just kind of just let you know what those guest risk scores mean. But again, super easy tool to implement and get started with right away. So, and we work with a bunch of other partners too, you guys, that are not just freemium tools. As you know, not every platform can offer a freemium tool, but we do work discounts with other partners. So just sending you guys a link there to learn a little bit more if you guys do want to set up those tools or look into them more, along with some other discounts that we offer with some integration partners. And just to touch on a few partners that we integrated with recently, just looking at the top, Linkbase, pretty cool guest management um, platform, I could say. HostKit's one that's a little more on the legal compliance side, specifically in Portugal. You'll notice Cleanster kind of sticks out right in the middle, along with Resort Cleaning, a couple turnover platforms that we added that were highly requested, so we were happy to bring those out. Looking at the left, TurboSuite Quibble, adding some dynamic pricing tools there, and over on the far right, Moving Lake, really a big data analysis when it comes to that one. So super excited about 2025 and what we have in the works. Don't want to give too much away yet, but hopefully you guys followed us on Instagram on that QR code at the beginning, because we release a lot of cool stuff there. But yeah, so I will turn it over to the other team for Hostfully resources.
Hey, thanks, Mitch. All right, we got a few minutes left here, and I want to make sure that everyone on the call knows the best way to contact us, knows how to find resources. We're always here to help, and there's a lot of information. The product's always changing. And so the best way to contact us is going to be in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. When you're in the product, you're going to see a chat icon. And if you click on that, it's going to open up what you see here on the left, and this is called the Messenger. Now, from here, you can do a variety of things. Up top, you're going to be able to contact us. And we've invested a lot into AI this last year. We've really built out Flash, the AI bot. And what Flash does is Flash scans 350 help articles that we have and finds the answer to a lot of questions. And so we're seeing Flash resolve about 30% of the inquiries that come in. And we hope that Flash is helping you to get you instant answers to some of the easy questions. And we know that not all questions can be answered by AI, and the majority do need our support team involved. So we have that option, of course, for that message to reach our team. And then for some plans, we even offered the option to schedule a tech support call. So this messenger in the product is going to get you an AI assistant, chat help, and for some plans, the ability to schedule a tech support call with us. Now, beyond that, we have a lot of resources at your disposal as well. So office hours, we have onboarding and success office hours 5 days a week. We have our product release notes, so you can always stay informed on what's happening in the product. And those are updated about twice a month. Hostfully University is a self-paced e-learning tool that you can use. And at first, this was targeted more toward new clients, onboarding clients, but the team has created some more senior courses this year, such as Reporting 101. And if you do have a new team member join your team, the Daily Use and Operations course is a great way to get them a head start. So all these links can be found directly in this messenger. And then below that, we have a link out to our user group. So we have a Facebook user group, over 2,000 Hostfully users in that group. Definitely some great conversations happening there. And then lastly, Hostfully user voice. And thank you everyone for all of your ideas and your votes. We've seen over 1,000 ideas in the last year, over 5,000 votes. And it definitely makes an impact into the prioritization of the product. So just a big thank you. You can always find that link from the messenger, and we encourage you to use it. Just touching briefly on a kind of hidden gem here that people may not be aware of, and that is getting support from the app. And so if you're on the app, you can reach our support team as well. You'll just need to click on menu and then click on help and then get support. So don't feel like you need to wait until you get back to your office and your desktop to send us a message. You can do that directly from the app. And lastly, just pivoting back to user voice, these are the top 3 user voice tickets of 2024. You can see the top spot went to separating the inbox per booking instead of per guest. So that makes it so that messages for different reservations are in different threads. So it just makes it easier to organize things. And then the 2 Airbnb messaging improvements that David mentioned, those were also highly voted by the user group. So thank you so much for all of your votes and your ideas. It definitely makes an impact. And back over to Bryce.
Great. Thanks, Eric. And thank you, everyone, for staying over a couple of minutes here. Wanted to just give you guys a little bit of a teaser here. Again, big projects for 2025. A lot of other work will go into the year and go into the product, but these are bigger projects that really, take some intensive focus from the dev team. Just wanted to share those with you as a little bit of a sneak peek. Midterm rentals coming up with a lot of customers. We want to support you guys with that. Multiple payments, lease agreements, etc. Like there's a lot there. There's some similarities to short term and there's some differences, and we want to support you guys with that and make sure that we do that moving forward. The ability to automatically sell orphan nights to your customers. So if there's a night before or after their stay that's open, you want to sell that. We want to enable you to do that and to be able to do that in an automatic way within Hostfully. So we're excited to talk more about that. Onboarding improvements. We know it's a big lift to set up your property management system. We want to keep making that easier. Mobile app enhancements. Again, guys, hang with us. We're going to keep adding features there. That's going to be a real key focus, and we want to make sure the mobile app's robust. Inbox. I had some questions about the inbox over the course of today, and we'll be doing a big facelift and kind of refresh on the inbox, and want to keep making sure that we're adding the useful tools that you need there. Multi-unit, want to keep building that out, adding additional integrations, channels, refresh on CRM functionality and kind of your guest database and managing that within Hostfully. And of course, reporting enhancements. We know that's the lifeblood of your business, to be able to get to that data and those reports, and we'll keep building that for you. The guest experience portal, AKA our guidebooks, kind of some overlap there, and we'll be talking more this year about how we can improve that interaction and experience for you and your guests, and how they learn about their stay and the property and all the great stuff that you provide. The owner portal also going to get some attention and some enhancements this year. Want to work on that. And automation V3. So automation is templates and triggers. We've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys on templates and triggers. Improving the email editor, being able to sort and filter your templates and triggers and more easily manage those. As well as just adding additional trigger options to trigger messages. And I saw a few comments about that in the thread there too. So updating our templates and triggers section, you'll see that probably change to be called automation, but a big area of focus for us in the coming year. And then also the ability to add custom fields to your lead forms. And to be able to track more custom data related to your guests and their stay, and some of the integrations that we have as well. So a lot of work already planned for 2025, and these are just the big projects, the ones that we know we want to work on. So excited to bring that to you, excited to share more as we work through the year. And thank you, panelists and co-presenters, guys, for jumping in and sharing all this great detail. We have recorded our session here today, so if anyone wants to watch back, if you missed something, let us know. Otherwise, let us know how we can help, and we want to make 2025 really your best year ever, and we're committed to doing that together. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. See you next time. Happy trails.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.